The Thing Behind the Door. Based on a true story. I was 13 when it happened. It was supposed to be an ordinary summer, the kind you spend at relatives, watching TV until late, drinking tea in the kitchen, and whispering secrets at night. But that summer changed the way I felt about night itself. I was living for a few weeks with my aunt and her two daughters, my cousins, in a new apartment they had just moved into. It was small, cozy, and still smelled faintly of paint and cardboard boxes. The kind of place that should have felt like a fresh start. But from the very first night, there was something wrong. My older cousin Lena said she couldn't sleep. She'd wake up drenched in sweat, heart racing, convinced that someone or something had been standing at her bedside. She'd tell me, whispering so her mother wouldn't hear, that she kept seeing a dark shape in her dreams.
"It's like a bull," she said once, "but not a real one. It walks upright, like a person." I laughed nervously. "You mean like a minotaur?" She just looked at me. "No, worse." The apartment was on the edge of the city, one of those gray Soviet blocks with long, echoing hallways and thin walls that made every sound seem closer than it was. During the day, everything felt normal, but after dark, it was as if the place changed. The air felt heavier. The hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen grew louder. Even the shadows seemed to breathe. Sometimes, just as we were falling asleep, we'd hear a faint creaking from the hallway. The kind that sounds like someone slowly shifting their weight on old floorboards. My aunt said it was the pipes, but we didn't have pipes that moved like footsteps. That night, the night I'll never forget, it was my turn to sleep on the top bunk. Lena took the bottom. We kept a tiny lamp plugged into the wall, but that night I remember we turned it off because my aunt had said electricity bills were high. It was dark. Not pitch black, the kind of dark where your eyes invent shapes. At some point in the night, I woke up. There was a faint light spilling through the tiny gap of our door, just a couple of centimeters wide. Someone was in the kitchen. I could hear it, the soft shuffle of feet, the quiet clink of something metallic. My first thought was that my aunt was up getting water, but then I realized the sound wasn't right. It was too deliberate, too heavy. And then it stopped. Silence. The kind that fills your ears and makes your heartbeat sound like thunder. I don't know how long I lay there staring at that sliver of light under the door. And then the footsteps started again. Slow, measured, heavy. They moved toward our room. Something inside me froze. It was as if my body decided that even breathing would give me away. Each step grew louder. The floor creaked like it was straining under weight that didn't belong. And then, nothing. The steps stopped right behind the door.
There was a pause. Then, a sound I will never forget. A low, wet exhale. Almost human, but deeper. Like an animal forcing air through its nostrils. I could feel it, right next to my head on the other side of the thin wooden wall. My eyes filled with tears. Every muscle screamed to move, to look, to run, but I couldn't. The door creaked, just slightly. The light widened, a blade of gold cutting into the dark. I thought I saw movement. Something tall, dark, filling the space between the door and the frame. And then came the sound. Not a growl, not a voice, just breathing. Heavy, slow, animal.
I turned my face toward the wall, squeezed my eyes shut, and started whispering a prayer I half remembered from childhood. Please, God, please, make it go away. The air grew hotter, heavier. I could smell it, a thick, metallic scent, like rust and sweat. My whole body trembled under the blanket. The breathing was right next to me now. I could almost feel it brushing the back of my neck through the air. And then, as suddenly as it came, it stopped. No footsteps leaving, no door closing, just silence. I don't remember falling asleep. I remember the feeling of my own heartbeat in my ears, and then nothing. When I woke up in the morning, sunlight was streaming through the curtains. Lena was already up, brushing her hair in front of the mirror. I climbed down, drenched in sweat. My blanket was damp, not just from heat, but from pure, paralyzing fear. "Did you hear anything last night?" I asked her. She looked at me through the mirror. "Yeah, I thought you did too." We went to the kitchen. The light was off, but something on the floor caught my eye, a trail of muddy prints leading from the hallway to the window. Not footprints, not exactly. They were too wide, too heavy, and ended abruptly at the balcony door. The window latch was slightly open. I asked my aunt if she had gotten up at night. She shook her head. "No. Why?" I told her what I'd heard, the footsteps, the breathing. Her face changed. "Don't say that," she said. "Not in this house." And then she whispered something almost to herself. "It follows the young ones. Always the young ones first." After that night, the dreams started. The same one, every time. I was standing in the kitchen, alone, in the half-dark. The hum of the refrigerator was louder than usual. And then from behind me, that sound, those slow, dragging steps. When I turned, I saw it, a tall, black shape, its head massive, eyes like embers, a bull walking on its hind legs. Every time I'd wake up before it reached me. Every time the feeling stayed, a pressure in the air, a memory of heat on my skin. We moved out a few months later. My aunt said it was because of work, but I think she just couldn't stand the place anymore. Even now, years later, when I wake up in the middle of the night and see the faint light from a cracked open door, my body remembers the silence, the breath, and the way the air seemed to lean closer, waiting. Sometimes, when I visit my cousin and we talk about that summer, she still brings it up. "Do you think it was real?" she asks. And every time I tell her the same thing. I don't know. But sometimes, late at night when the apartment is quiet and I hear the faint creak of a floorboard, I remember the sound of those steps, and I pray they're never walking toward me again.